Hey guys, thank you for tuning into my channel. Today we're going to talk about protracted push-ups and how they can help you get fit and get active. Before we talk about exactly how to perform the protracted push-up, we're going to talk about the tempo of a push-up. This is the certain speed that you should perform each part. On my lowering phase, or on the eccentric portion of the push-up, you want to make sure that you're doing 4 seconds. Go all the way down until your nose touches the ground. You can do a slight pause where you'll exhale, pushing yourself back to the top. You want to make sure that you get back to straight elbows and you do a 1 second pause at the top of the motion. From there, you're going to repeat over again. 4 seconds on the way down, touching the nose at the bottom, exhaling back to the top, 1 second pause at the top. Now let's take this tempo and apply it to our protracted push-up. I'm going to show you 3 different variations that will range from easy, medium, and hard, but let's start by looking at the hardest variation and discuss the similarities between all 3. One of the main focuses of the protracted push-up is to try to keep your shoulders protracted. This is a lot easier said than done. When you get to the bottom range of this push-up, you'll have the tendency to want to pinch the shoulder blades together or retract them. You need to make sure that you have the control and the awareness to keep the shoulders as separated as possible for the duration of the push-up. Our second area of focus is going to be our torso. With the lower spine, you want to make sure that you're keeping it protracted or neutral. You can think of doing a pelvic tilt. Your upper thoracic will be rounded out as if you were doing a hollow body hold. You'll naturally have this kind of curve with your upper thoracic if you're keeping your shoulders separated or protracted. And lastly, you want to focus on keeping your elbows above your wrist for the entire push-up. When you start at the top, elbows above the wrist. As you go down, your head, neck, and shoulders will drift way ahead of your hands, and this will help keep your elbows over your wrist. When you push yourself back to the top, keep the elbows over the wrists. You can perform this push-up with a yoga block along the backside of your forearms, and if you knock the blocks over, then you'll know that you're moving your elbows and can then make the necessary corrections. Also, be sure to subscribe to this channel if you're interested in learning how to incorporate more movement training into your everyday life. So now let's talk about the differences between all 3 protracted push-up variations. Our easiest variation will have us starting in a crawling position. You'll line up your knees under your hips and your wrists under your shoulders. When you get to the bottom, you'll try to touch your nose, and if you have a little bit more mobility, then you'll try to touch your chin. Our second variation, which I'll consider our medium variation, will have us moving the knees in back of the hips. This is going to put a little more load onto your arms, making it slightly harder. When you get to the bottom of this variation, try to focus on touching your chin to the ground, and if you can, practice touching your chest at the same time as well. And finally, our hardest variation has us starting in the full plank position. When you get to the bottom of this variation, you want to try to touch your chin and chest to the ground at the same time. Pick whichever variation is appropriate for you and try to do sets of 5 repetitions. And to learn more ways to incorporate exercise into your everyday life, make sure you watch the videos that are on the screen right now. As always, this is Joey saying be kind to one another and move well. Peace.